Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game Sock versus Labyrinth. This game taking place here on Eversong 1.1. I don't remember the last time I cast a game here, so just gonna go ahead and speed things up a little bit, get to that 2-minute mark, and take a look around the map. You have these destructible gates that lead to your expansion location off to the north. You can still walk it around in order to get there, but your opponent has an easy way to get there as well, since they don't have to go through these demonic gates. We are going to see an Archmage versus a Death Knight matchup. As the game does get underway, you can see the Footman already attempting to knock on that gate door, take it down, and well, damage is already getting absorbed there. Unfortunately, we don't get to see how many hit points this demonic gate has before it eventually falls. All right, there it goes. Finally falls there. Footman, Water Elemental, able to clear it down. Archmage losing a little bit of time to life there, as you can see him now go after this Ogre Magi and Void Walker creep camp. All right, back on the south side here, Labyrinth not going in that direction, instead heading to the Murlocs. Here, going to go ahead and take on a level 6 Murgle Marauder, and we'll get to level 2. We are looking at a Rod of Necromancy as well. Those skeletal minions absorbing quite a bit of that damage, as you can see them just constantly getting resummoned up as new corpses take their place. There's that level 2 there. Took a little bit of time, but able to clear it easily. Meanwhile, peasants are looking to set up perhaps arcane tower here, and then a town hall here. It's going to be very, very well protected overall, as we're already looking at the undead now perhaps going to try to make their way out across the map. Meanwhile, pink is easier to see on the map. You're going to go after these forest trolls. Death Knight just around the corner. They're going to surprise each other, run into each other, and then get into a slight engagement. All right, perhaps going to try to go after some of these units. Archmage does have a Cloak of Shadows. A little bit of damage going to get racked up here. One tower now done here, as the Death Knight going to summon up some skeletal minions. Death Coil to save up a ghoul, as the units are already engaging. One Water Elemental trying to dish out a bit of damage. One low hit point peasant already taken down, as the workers are working overtime to try and build up this town hall. However, there was a shortage on lumber, causing three of the four workers to stop working there. That is going to be a critical loss in time, as the Archmage uses a Cloak of Shadows. Death Coil there, Archmage ends up getting revealed, as the Sentry Ward is placed down to keep track right there. Death Knight could easily get off another Death Coil to finish off this Archmage. Archmage could be in a little bit of trouble. All he needs to do is one more attack here, as Labyrinth does have this Sentry Ward right in this position. That Scout Tower now taken down here. Death Knight still playing a little bit of a dangerous game, as the ghouls going to try and clean up some of these peasants, at least make this expansion slightly expensive. All right, more fireballs getting launched against the Death Knight. Death Knight wants to go after that Archmage. Archmage already back up to 115 hit points. There's level 3 now on the Death Knight. Level 3 Death Knight means level 2 Death Coil means that will be a very dead Archmage if the Archmage tries and come back, because there is that Sentry Ward still in that position. All right, meanwhile, Footman going to get taken down once more. Archmage still trying to keep that distance. Needs to get above 150 hit points in order to even stay nearby against that Death Knight. Meanwhile, the Death Knight still having some pretty free range, but no longer has any more charges of that important Rod of Necromancy. All right, without any more charges of Rod of Necromancy, there's not going to be any reinforcements unless they come all the way back from the undead base. And beautifully done, the Death Knight really racking up those kills, but the Archmage also not slacking off either, as the Archmage going to try and hide off to the side. There is that Arcane Vault trying to be built. There is a Sentry Ward. Is it just outside of range? It is outside of range of that Archmage. Archmage hidden, but well, able to stay hidden there, as the Death Knight, well, waiting to see if the Archmage crosses the path here, perhaps try to land a Death Coil. Nope, no Death Coil, as the Archmage does have a Scroll of Regeneration, and now basically saying, you know what, Death Knight, I know your tricks. Get away from me. I'm not going to use this Scroll of Regeneration until I know you are further away. Archmage now looking to back away here, does have that Cloak of Shadows. Death Knight having no idea where the Archmage went. No double cross, sees where the Archmage went, and now we're going to look at this Archmage perhaps try and hide in a different spot. All right, Death Knight, however, with that Unholy Aura, able to keep up that distance. Archmage still running laps here. Is it going to Shadow Meld in time? No, it did Shadow Meld, but why did it stop? As the Archmage, now there's that Death Coil, going to go ahead and land down to 213 hit points, as another shot from the Death Knight, well, not inbound. tech to tier 2, well, has been started, or no, excuse me, tech to tier 3 has been started. Lich already going to get trained up here. We are getting up that slaughterhouse tier as the Death Knight now going to perhaps be backing away. Archmage wants to get to level 3. Death Knight now going to perhaps try and well, poke down this water elemental, get a little bit more experience if it can, and well, forcing these footmen to take more damage than they really want to. Death Knight still back across over here. A little bit of damage fire over the wall here. Level 3 on that Archmage. Who's going to get that kill? Death Knight gets the kill here as the ghouls are now coming in to reinforce. There's a Death Coil onto the Archmage. Archmage down to 127. Does have a Scroll of Regeneration. Going to get in some more fireball damage onto that and Death Knight. Meanwhile, Lich was just a little bit too far away. Not quite sure why there was so much distance there as another Death Coil goes down and finishes off the Archmage at level 3. Archmage fallen at level 3. Lich and Death Knight now looking to work together to try and clean up the rest of these footmen here. Lich could get a big Frost Nova there, perhaps try to rack up a little bit more damage against all those units as the footmen. Where are they running off to? I am not so sure, as another ghoul or another footman gets taken down. Back off to the north here. Death Knight going to go up against a water elemental, finish it off. It has a potion of mana and, well, really wants to get up to level 4 in order to get in order to get up to level 4 and in order to get level 2 Unholy Aura, as that would definitely help out its overall healing. 11 experience shy. Death Knight now knew that Obsidian statues were inbound and wanted to intercept them before the Obsidian statues could get to that Death Knight and Lich. All right, coming back through. Well, Obsidian statue absorbing quite a bit of damage. Death Knight now down here standing right next to this one Obsidian statue and on Blight. Should be having really no problems whatsoever staying alive with all of this additional healing. 1 or 2 more shots should finish off this footman. The footman does end up getting denied as the Death Knight now going after this footman. There could be a Death Coil to finish off that footman there. 1 or 2 more shots. There it is. Gets up to level 4 and now going after another target. All right, a little bit more slow right there, trying to chase after those units. There's another deny, beautifully done by Sock. LabyRinth getting denied a little bit of precious experience, but still finishing off well, 3 footmen in about 30 seconds. Sock needs to consider his options here. He's been feeding additional experience to his opponent and then trying to replace those footmen to defend that location. He's finally holding at tier 2 and now able to start training up that Mountain King, perhaps get that workshop, get some mortars as well. Are we going to see flying machines and knights? That is the question, as we should be seeing a tech to tier 2 or tier 3 momentarily. Meanwhile, Archmage looking to clear out some giant skeleton warriors, take down those units. Down to the south side here, an expansion could be set up as we see LabyRinth going for a Dreadlord as that 3rd and final hero. Acolyte already ready to summon up some Ziggurats, perhaps haunt that gold mine as well, as units are on the move here. Lich does have that Orb of Corruption that well, gives it a lot more power for the rest of the army here, as we're looking at the snappers, the giant sea turtles, and hatchlings gonna get cleaned up. Meanwhile, Archmage quickly shuts down any potential expansion attempt here, and now gonna walk straight into the main undead base. Normally something that human players rather are afraid against, but well, not Sock, as he knows he wants to try and keep his opponent in check while he's massing up an army back at home. Massing up this army back at home is going to be key here. There is dual barracks. Tech to tier 3 is underway, and we should be looking at a couple of knights and flying machines getting trained up here. There's those flying machines now, and well, knights and flying machines work simply because flying machines are strong against Death Coil, Frost Nova, and knights have enough hit points to really not get bursted down too quickly. Staff of Sanctuary should also be purchased there. We'll see if that is going to be the case, or if Sock had to train too many footmen and is then short on gold. All right, a couple of fell beasts going to get taken down as well. Mountain King still sitting at level 1. And we don't really see what's going on here. Goblin Sapper is beautifully done at taking down the gold mine as it was under construction. Flying machines now going up against the Destroyer. The Destroyer taking quite a bit of damage here, as there is a bit of splash damage once again. Death Knight now trying to make its way back. Fly Machine's perhaps going to go ahead, retreat, and get repaired back up once more, as we're looking at well, the Hydra hatchlings off to the north can get cleaned up. Tome of Intelligence +2, plus a Potion of Invulnerability. Mountain King now up to 270 mana already, also getting Thunderclap in addition to that Stormbolt. All right. Destroyers, Dreadlord, Lich, Death Knight, Obsidian Statue. That's often all really needed, as we're looking at a big Frost Nova across 3 footmen, or 4 footmen, gonna slow them down. Little bit of damage just getting racked up here as the footmen are trying to run under the cover. And once again, multiple footmen lost, as we do not yet have knights getting trained. Once knights are trained, you better believe they're going to join in on the battlefield. However, is there too much of a hero level experience already by the undead? Economically speaking, Sok has mined more gold throughout, but he's not been able to leverage that economic advantage at all. Level 3 now on that Lich, meaning level 2 Frost Nova is on the table. Coming back around, Archmage does have +14 attack, can rack up quite a few kills, perhaps grab an Orb of Fire. We're looking at Barrage. All right, so Siege Engines gonna be used instead of Flying Machines, even though we are getting in some Knights. All right, coming back across here, Mountain King is gonna pick up that. Oh my goodness, this is an absolute horrible day. Mountain King trying to retreat back. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Going to try and retreat, or full invulnerability. 15 seconds. Scroll of Town Portal. Mountain King could try and get off another Stormbolt here. Frost Nova onto that footman, as it, well, does not make that teleport. Staff of Sanctuary used by the Mountain King now. There is a dual barracks, but they are not both training anything, as it doesn't look like well, Sok has really been able to leverage that stronger economy and translate it into production. Legion of Doomharm will be sold. Chain Lightning bouncing around there. Some Devour magic as well. Lich will most likely get a Death Coil here in just a moment to try and get healed back up, as that Obsidian Statue, well, has a lot of work to do. All right, do we see an Orb of Fire? Yes, we do. Archmage also has an Orb of Fire to try and disrupt some of that healing. Knights do not have the Animal War training. Nothing else getting trained out of these, or, well, Animal War training getting trained from one of the 2 barracks, as we are now transitioning into Barrage by Sok. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try and engage. There's a bit of damage there, as we see a Stormbolt onto the fellow Ravager. Ravager going to get taken down pretty quickly. All that focus fire, Warsong Battle Drums now for big bonus damage across the entire human army here, as we're looking at this Greater Voidwalker now under focus fire. Coming back around, more Dark Troll Berserkers going to get cleaned up here. Mountain King does get up to level 3. Level 2 Stormbolt now opened up, as the Mountain King picks up Tome of Agility as well. Perhaps we're going to see some more Staff of Sanctuaries usage to try and keep those knights alive. We are also getting into more and more siege engines to just try and roll on in and take out the opponent. Destroyers are here, ready once more. 533, very high level on LabyRinth, but only sitting at 50/60 supply with a decent bank of 1100 gold. Meanwhile, Sok sitting at 78/90 with a 4-3 eventually, or soon to be, level 2 Paladin. And is that gonna be sufficient? That is the question, as Peasants are now looking to, well, take an expansion over here on the bottom left-hand side of the map. All right, I will say one thing. Eversong does seem like a very busy map with a lot of doodads and a lot of things just happening on the map there, making these very narrow choke points that, if you are not familiar with, you may end up getting surprised by and end up losing some units if you just let them freely path. Right, this position right here, this little walkway behind the tavern is a just absolute death trap already, as we're going to be going into an engagement. All right, Flying Machines, well, trying to catch up. The Destroyer is going to try and engage, and there's a Carrion Swarm ripping on through. The Siege Engines could actually barrage against those Destroyers. Not quite sure what they're doing, as the Knights are now going to try and engage here. There's one decent thunderclap there, as the units are now looking to retreat back. All right, Banshee's now looking to retreat here. Siege Engine is just going to roll on in and go after the Haunted Gold Mine. Haunted Goldmine now taking a little bit, and taking a significant damage here. That fortified armor, very difficult to overcome, even with that -4 armor there. All right, Death Coil straight up onto a priest to try and take it down. Siege engines are trying to clean things up here as we see massive repairs are underway. Destroyers now coming across here. Death Knight sitting at level, or Paladin now sitting at level 2 as the siege engines are trying to just get into position here. Retreating back here. So much Death Coil. There's a Staff of Sanctuary. Beautiful save there. But is that enough? There's only 2 Staff of Sanctuaries for the human army. Both sides still fighting their way through. Priest, another Staff of Sanctuary getting used there as the siege engines find their target and take down the expansion. One knight does finally get taken down. Banshees are not using that mastery training to try and possess those targets as the siege engines turn back around, perhaps going after this necropolis to try and slow down any additional expansions here. Acolytes are trying to fight back again. Siege engines do have the barrage, so could easily have taken down or put pressure onto those destroyers, but instead they are still going after those precious buildings. Continuing to get pressured here. Going to go after that slaughterhouse now. Spellbreaker's trying to retreat back. There goes another Spellbreaker there. 58 supply compared to 50. The army of Labyrinth is actually slightly larger as the Paladin falls at level 2. All right, siege engines about to take down the slaughterhouse. Water Elemental trying to offer a little bit of protection. Not going to happen much there as that siege engine takes down that slaughterhouse there. One siege engine will end up getting trapped, and here is that retreat back. Sock taking a play out of an old playbook, just expand all over the place. Well, I'm not quite sure why these peasants are actually attacking this scout tower. Oh, they're attacking the scout tower there because they can't build an expansion, as that scout tower was in the wrong spot. All right. Finally taken down here. Scout tower, arcane tower, things are trying to be built. Not going to work. Death Coil going to finish off one of those peasants as repairs are underway onto those guard towers. All right, 50 over 50 supply. Guard towers trying to take down these buildings. Arcane tower needs to switch targets onto the Dreadlord to drain some of that mana since the Death Knight is already low. As we're looking at the cannon tower, going to end up getting canceled. There's that Dreadlord now looking to back away. Dual arcane towers going after units here as the Knights now going to be showing up to the party. Knights looking to dive perhaps onto those Crypt Fiends, not going to be able to do that. So it is still 2 bases to 1 as Labyrinth has not set up a new base yet. Still plenty of mining in those, or 2.5 minutes of mining left in those main gold mines as the Death Knight trying to hold on to things for now. All right. What can really be said here? We are at momentum point for both teams. If Labyrinth can keep up the momentum, get up to level 5 on the Lich and that Dreadlord, that is going to be too much burst damage. Meanwhile, though, if the Archmage is able to hit the tipping point, perhaps put in some pressure, that will be enough as well. Knights continuing to chase after some units. No Stormbolt found. Going to try to engage against that Obsidian statue down to 427 hit points as it is attempting to retreat back. Siege engines finally using that barrage, able to get in a little bit of damage. Some Dark Ritual there to get in a bit of more mana on that Lich as the units are going to be turning back around. Siege engine 2/2 upgrades going to try and engage against those 2 flying machine, or against those 2 destroyers. No repairs possible on that siege engine as another carrion swarm ripping through. Webbing now taking down some of those flying machines as the siege engine using that barrage fairly effectively to take down one of the destroyers. Banshee now getting bolted down. There's a Dark Ritual before it can get finished off as the fly machines are trying to finish off that last destroyer, but gets healed up again. A couple of easy acolytes getting served up for the human army here. Meanwhile, fly machines losing against the destroyers and the rest of the undead army. More damage still getting racked up. Units are chasing back around here. Death Knight going after the Paladin. Paladin using that Divine Shield in order to stay alive. New expansion now getting up and underway here as the Mountain King trying to retreat back again. All right, are we going to see a slight engagement? It looks as though we are going to see an engagement here. Fly Machine's going to engage against the Destroyer. Destroyer looking like it's in great spot until it realizes, wait a second, there's plenty of Fly Machines nearby. Is the Destroyer going to get taken down? No, it is able to stay alive. One Banshee getting Dark Ritualed again, but that is a negative amount of mana, as the Dark Ritual does cost a bit of mana there. Lich now getting very close to level 5 here. Banshee could get taken down. Death Knight saving the destroyer once again, time and time again, as the flying machines are getting shot down. But with flying machines, they do not provide that much experience, especially with 3 heroes nearby, as that Lich is just inching ever so closer, even though flying machines are getting destroyed. All right, units trying to get taken out. Are we going to see a destroyer get taken down? No, down to 14 hit points. It survives again, and another Death Knight, Death Coil, saves the day. Both sides still fighting their way through. Losing that one destroyer while it was in transit would have been absolutely huge, as we do see 3 Staffs of Sanctuary by Sock keeping all of these units alive. After all of that, though, the Lich has gotten to level 5, and with that, a level 5 Lich, level 3 Frost Nova, beautiful Staff of Sanctuary again, saving multiple units throughout. Knights, siege engines constantly being saved. Level 1 Masonry upgrade, more engagement, another Staff of Sanctuary, that time saving the Mountain King as the Carrion Swarm was on its way. Death Coil onto the Paladin. Paladin does not have enough time for a Divine Shield. Going to go ahead and transfer that Scroll of Town Portal to try and engage here, perhaps take down that Destroyer, as well as the Knights are now going to be, retreating back here. Sock finally using the production off of all of these buildings here, or producing all of these production buildings, 2 workshops, 2 barracks, cranking out Knights, flying machines, and those siege engines. Main gold mines have been mined out. We're looking at Undead LabyRinth trying to reestablish up his expansion that was lost earlier. Meanwhile, we're looking at Sock, who is still currently sitting on 2 bases here, as the expansion still has about 3 minutes of mining left as well. This is a perfect time for Sock to try and close the door before that Dreadlord gets up to level 5. Once that Dreadlord gets up to level 5, the Archmage and the Mountain King, if the Paladin doesn't get to level 3, it will be too much direct damage to try and overcome, even with Staff of Sanctuaries. All right, looks like Sock is ready for this push. 78 over 100 supply. In comes the engagement now, going straight after those units. Fly machines looking for those destroyers, going to try and burst them down. Carrion Swarm ripping through, webbing down all of those targets here. Siege engines attempting to take down the destroyers. Death Knight is going to save that destroyer. No, it doesn't. Level 4 now on the Mountain King. We could be looking at a couple of Storm Bolts here. Paladin still sitting at level 2. He has Inner Fire to stay alive, and he's purposely staying in the back in order to get those burst heals. All right, level 3 now on that Paladin. Sock looks like he's going to be able to come back over the top here. There's a Death Coil. No Staff. Oh, Staff of Sanctuary in time. I was about to say it was not going to be in time there, as the Siege Engines is attempting to take down the Haunted Gold Mine, but massively getting repaired as well. Thunderclap coming back across, slowing down a bunch of cool Paladins, still fighting their way through. Dispelling, trying to remove some of that blight that was caused by that essence, or that, not essence of blight, by that sacrificial skull. More Thunderclap coming back across. Death Knight could be in trouble. Potion of Healing not used, and that is going to be the game there. Level 5 Death Knight falls, waiting for the other shoe to drop there. Level 5 on the Dreadlord. Both sides fighting their way through. Mountain King going after those targets, going after the Crypt Fiends, and that is in fact the game. Sock getting in a timely Stormbolt onto that Death Knight, who was unable to use that Potion of Greater Healing or his Scroll of Town Portal in order to stay alive. Beautifully done. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let's look at the final scores.